definition of insanity is.
And RWBY is back. It's been a while. It's been a long while. And there have been a lot of controversies. Like a lot. So, how does this episode start?
Gotcha! This is the story of a girl who had a lot of problems.
Yeah, that's all of them. Even among the guys, that's still all of them. So it turns out my trailer reaction was right. This volume is going to mostly focus on RWBY as a character. It's pretty clear from seeing her interactions with everyone, the way her mental state is displayed, and the fact that she's the only one there without a weapon. We're getting a real look into RWBY. I guess the writers got really frustrated with everyone saying that they don't like her as the main character. If I'm gonna be honest, RWBY's journey through the story has been... While I can see what they are trying to do, results may vary. The idea of her slowly becoming the most depressed character out of everyone there is interesting. Once again, results may vary. And you know, me having to say this isn't good, but I do like that they've taken a step back from the whole Salem main plot thing. I think it's been made pretty clear the writers kind of have an issue when it comes to juggling all the plot lines and characters they've inserted into the story. Now we can just focus solely on RWBY. Wait, who's that? The only question now is exactly how deep are they willing to go into RWBY's character? It's been years and there's been a lot of time for a lot of people to talk about RWBY and what she could be feeling, and it's gonna be really telling to see exactly how the writers decide to approach this whole problem. Personally, I just want some at least meaningful discussion and effects from thoughts over their mistakes in Atlas and what they could have done better. Not all of them, I highly doubt they're gonna address all of them, but like some of the things they did wrong, I feel like they should really get into it. Volume 8 kind of tried to get into that with talking about what the kids did wrong and whether or not they are even qualified for what they are doing. But like in both instances, Yang was there to shut it down before it got really introspective. But let's move on to actually looking at this episode as a whole. And God, it's gonna be real theory for that for all the fandom. This volume is going to create a lot of theory crafting about the ideas of where they are and what they're doing, and you know what, most of it is going to not matter because it's kind of vague over what's happening. This episode mostly just focuses on RWBY and Co managing to find each other and talking about what's happened, and plot wise not a lot happens. Like I said, this whole episode is Team RWBY getting back together and trying to get their bearings, and I do think that is worth dedicating a single episode to, though I do hope the plot kicks into gear as we go on. I had some thoughts about several things that happened throughout the episode. For instance, there are quite a few things I liked, like this mouse's design. Yeah, Little is cute and he's apparently going to be the animal companion, but like this guy looks and quite frankly sounds more exciting.
And on this day, we were not the prey, but the hunted!
Also, I found their mouse culture rather interesting. I feel like RWBY should not be so confused about it given the explanation she's been given, but she doesn't watch as much TV as me, so maybe the concepts aren't as familiar to her. Monochrome. Yeah, this was great. The whole scene was adorable, and without having to deal with so many side characters and plots, it's actually great to see Team RWBY kind of just, well, I wouldn't describe this as a more laid back situation, but with no immediate danger, just watching them interact has been great. I'm really hoping for more of that, which is why I don't really want Volume 9 to go back to the real world, even though I get the distinct feeling that there just will not be enough content for them to really stretch this adventure out into 12 episodes without a lot of filler. People say this is going to be a filler season, but like, we don't know what's going to happen in this season, so that's a really odd thing to try and theorize about. And you can't really call it a filler season if it's going to be full of character development now, can you? However, I do not want them to overly stretch out the whole show to try and only have this adventure last all of Volume 9, unless they really do have a lot to fill of the whole place. There's a reason RWBY has a reputation of having almost all the episodes not really matter until the last third. But going back to what I was saying, I really do hope for more RWBY-centric interactions.
If you thought we wouldn't come for you, then you must have forgotten who raised me. What is that? Yang.
Oh, this is a shithole.
I actually liked Weiss trying to keep Penny's death a secret until the complete reunion where it all came pouring out in a wave of emotion. It would have been really annoying if she tried to keep it a secret the whole time, but keeping it a secret until they found everyone makes more sense. Where Weiss is still my favorite character on the team. That hasn't really changed that much, even though her family kind of hijacked her character arc in Atlas. Well, not hijacked, more like they did all the heavy lifting. The strange creatures are kind of hit or miss for me. I'm not very impressed by them. I feel like they could have been a lot more crazily designed. That being said, however, I do like the monster they almost fought and its gimmick of saying whatever it does. I hope it doesn't grow old, and I hope there's an interesting story behind it. The dialogue is fine. I find a few exchanges a bit clunky, but honestly that's kind of a small nitpick on my part. I don't really think that any of the dialogue is too bad that you can't keep it. That being said, there are a few lines that some characters say that made me go, what?
And are there others down here too?
I don't know if anyone else fell. No.
So has everyone just forgotten about all these people? No, they couldn't have. I know I've been talking about how I like that this is going to be a RWBY centric volume, but that doesn't change the fact that there should be a lot more people here just by the way volume 8 ended. And before anyone makes the argument, yes, they will all be alive. Yang fell without her aura and was fine. Clearly there was no fall damage. Also, Yang says this:
I don't think you'd believe me if I told you.
I suppose we're gonna have to wait until the next episode to figure out exactly what we won't believe, because she doesn't really elaborate on that after she lays eyes on the mouse. Okay, I like this episode for the whole character interactions and how RWBY is slowly getting back together. RWBY, the team that is, and how RWBY, the character, is kind of falling apart. I do wish it was a bit more stretched out to like understand more of the island. I feel they should have stayed with the mice just a bit more, because like the mice are definitely the most fantastical thing about the show. They can talk, they plant cheese. How did they set up that vine trap? It's actually a bit jarring how quickly the mice come into frame and then immediately leave without doing anything. It's like they flash this really interesting culture and this really interesting looking character in the audience's face for half a second, and then they're like, okay, moving on. So beyond touching on some of RWBY's troubles, this episode is rather light on telling us about what the volume will be about, but I am interested in figuring out exactly where this is going, so let's see how that goes. As for the new OP, well, my only thought is I hope Girl Oscar has a better introduction than actual Oscar. I'm gonna call her Girl Oscar until we get in the sorry, not sorry. Also, she better not come with them to the real world. The cast is bloated enough as it is. If we're really taking a break from everything to get more introspection on the main characters, which in and of itself shouldn't be happening, but hey. But if we're really taking a break from the bloated cast so we can focus more on the main characters, then it's gonna be counterintuitive to take more people from this place into the real world when we're done. But you know what? Those are just my thoughts on the volume. What are yours? Did you like it? Did you dislike it? What did you think of the plot? What did you think of the OP? Honestly, I didn't really like the song, but I feel it might grow on me. And while you're telling me down in the comments, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more videos. Thank you, and good day.